Assalamu alaikum, Claremont McKenna College, CMC student. Claremont College's Muslim Student Association community. For those of you who know me, Assalamu alaikum again. And for those of you who don't know me, and I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aadil Muhammad. I'm sure a lot of you have heard, seen, and may have these colorful impressions of me. The extremist, critical Wahhabi, etc., etc. Yeah, I'm that guy. No, I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. I've always been a little different. I'll be the first to admit to that. But I ask hard questions. I act. I challenge norms. I speak out when it's easier to remain silent. But the Prophet ﷺ said, Islam began as something strange and will return to something strange. So give glad tidings to the strangers. And so yeah, maybe I'm a little strange, but if weird means standing up for what is right, then I'm okay with it. Originally I wasn't thinking about making this video, it wasn't a thought. But after having some meaningful dialogue, discussion with a Muslim brother, a part of our community, Thawahir, who's actually a next door neighbor of mine, I realized even though we disagreed a lot on things in the past, we found real common ground. And that's because we talked, we listened, and we connected. And that made me realize maybe it's time I speak to all of you. And this is probably the easiest mode of communication. Instead of you guys seeing my spam threads in the chat room. So in the coming days, you'll see my name on the ballot for vice president of the Claremont College's Muslim Student Association, tongue twister. And let's be real, I know this is, I'm going to be frank here. I know a lot of you might be surprised. A lot of you will definitely be skeptical. And I know there will be a small majority of you that will be annoyed. And that's okay, because free will, John Locke, what have you. So, but I didn't decide to run because I just wanted leadership, and it's resume booster. I mean, I'm an incoming senior. Doesn't really matter. I'm running because I've seen 3 years of leadership. I've been in the MSA for 3 years, and I've spoken up when others decided to remain reticent. And yeah, I've been critical, very critical. But that's because I care. And because I don't, as I've mentioned a lot of times, I don't believe in echo chambers. And because I believe if we can't hold each other accountable, then what's the point of community leadership? So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about facts. The current administration, in my honest opinion, has been one of the least transparent I've ever seen out of the last 3 years. And I find that very hypocritical and ironic, because this is the same administration that kicked out the last administration and criticized the last administration, but did a 180 and turned around and did the exact same things. So, Palestine events, more Palestinian events were planned to have been held. That didn't happen. Non-halal food was served at Eid. Like, come on. Porters, and these key committees, these Tarawih committee, election committees, they're just formed. No one else knows about them. They're just, people come up to one another, their friends, these cliques, and say, hey, do you want to join up this committee? That's ridiculous. And lastly, we don't have a treasurer. The last treasurer stepped down. There was no reopening up new applications or reopening of applications. It was left vacant. And that's ridiculous. There's been no oversight. It's all felt like a closed circle, and decisions are being made behind closed doors, and voices like yours and mine are being left out. That's not community, that's not accountability, and that is not leadership. So I'm running not for president, because I know myself, and Many of you know me. I can be passionate, but I can also be very blunt. But as vice president, I am running. I will be the one to challenge the presidents when needed, and I'll be the one who ensures you, the community, are heard, respected, but most importantly, represented. So if you want an MSA where things are out in the open, where leaders are held accountable, where our voices, our values are honored, our voices are heard, then I ask you to vote for me. Let me get a little closer here. I don't want you guys to let hearsay or cloud your judgment. I look at what I've done, look at what I've said in these chats, listen to what I'm saying, and I ask you, I plead you to ask yourself, what kind of community do you want to be a part of? My name is Aadil. I'm running for Vice President of the Muslim Student Association here at the Claremont Colleges, and I promise to be the voice of reason, the voice of accountability, and finally, your voice. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.